When you picture an iMac in your head, what do you see? I bet for most of us, it's that classic silver slab of aluminum. For, well over a decade, this was the look for desktops everywhere. But the story of how it came to be and how it changed over time is all about evolution and some seriously clever engineering. So let's break down the entire era of the aluminum iMac.
But that brings up a really important question right from the start. We hear that term unibody thrown around all the time with Apple products from this period. But what does it actually mean? What makes a computer a unibody?
And this is the look that really defined that whole idea for millions of people. You've got the clean aluminum, that striking black glass, and the simple, elegant stand. This design language dominated from 2007 all the way to 2020. It's really the ultimate expression of that unibody philosophy.
Okay, so let's solve this unibody mystery once and for all.
Here's the big reveal. A unibody machine is one where the main body, the chassis, is carved out of a single solid block of aluminum. Apple actually introduced this with the MacBook Pro first, and it was a total game changer. This wasn't just about making it look good. It made the whole thing stronger, lighter, and way more precise than just screwing a bunch of parts together.
So, let's trace the journey, shall we? We're going to start with Era 1. This is when the iMac made its first huge leap, ditching that famous white plastic shell and jumping headfirst into the world of metal.
And here it is. This is the machine that kicked it all off, the mid-2007 iMac. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Even though this thing looks like a unibody, it's not. Not really. It's more like a pre-unibody design. It set the look, but the way it was built wasn't quite there yet.
So back in August 2007, this model came out and replaced those classic white plastic iMacs. It had that beautiful brushed aluminum front, the brand new black glass around the screen, but here's the key detail, the giveaway. It still had a separate kind of bulged plastic back, so it wasn't milled from one single piece.
And this is why this machine is so important to the story. Even though it wasn't a true unibody, this 2007 model basically wrote the rulebook. It established the design language, the aluminum, the glass, that signature chin that would define the iMac for the next 13 years. It was the blueprint.
Okay, so Apple set the visual stage. Now it was time for the engineering to catch up. Let's jump into Era 2, where the iMac finally, officially earned its unibody title. Now take a look at this late 2009 model. I mean, from the front, it looks pretty similar, right? But the way it's built is completely different. This is the machine that most of us think of when we hear unibody iMac, a full, seamless aluminum shell that just felt so solid and so premium.
And this era brought some monster upgrades. I mean, besides the full unibody shell, we got new 16:9 widescreen displays in 21.5 and 27-inch sizes. And get this, for the very first time, you could get quad-core i5 and i7 processors. Oh, and here's a cool trick. The 27-inch model could actually be used as an external monitor for another Mac.
And this is exactly why these models, from '09 to 2011, are still so loved by tech enthusiasts and collectors today. They hit this perfect sweet spot. You got that classic, super robust design, but the insides were still pretty easy to get to. You could actually upgrade the RAM yourself.
But, of course, Apple couldn't leave well enough alone. Then came the most radical change of all. For Era 3, a unibody wasn't enough. They decided to make it almost impossibly thin.
And wow, does this picture tell the story or what? On the left, you've got that classic fat back unibody. And on the right, the 2012 redesign. From the front, yeah, they look like they're in the same family, but that side view tells a completely different story. It was just a massive feat of engineering.
I mean, just look at that edge. Apple called it a tapered edge design, and you can see why. The body kind of bulges out in the middle to fit all the computer parts, but it tapers down to an edge that's almost like a knife blade. It's just wild.
5 millimeters. That's it. That's how thin the edge was. Let that sink in for a second. 5 millimeters. It was an incredible bit of manufacturing that made the machine feel like it was breaking the laws of physics.
So, how on earth did they pull this off? Well, they used some really advanced techniques, like something called friction stir welding to join the aluminum parts together seamlessly. They laminated the screen right to the glass, which got rid of the air gap and made everything look sharper. But yeah, there were trade-offs. The DVD drive? Gone forever. And upgrading the RAM on the smaller 21.5-inch model suddenly became a job only for the experts.
But Apple still wasn't done tinkering with this design. Just when we thought it couldn't get any better, they stopped focusing on the thinness of the body and turned their attention to the screen itself.
Then, bam! In late 2014, the first Retina 5K iMac arrived. The 27-inch screen packed in an absolutely staggering 14.7 million pixels. This just set a completely new standard for what an all-in-one display could even be.
So after all that innovation, from that very first aluminum shell all the way to a screen with millions and millions of pixels, we finally reached the end of this iconic design era.
So let's do a quick recap of the whole journey. It started with those first aluminum iMacs back in 2007. Then came the true Unibody era, followed by the long run of the slim Unibody and Retina models, which took us all the way to 2020.
And that's what's truly amazing, isn't it? That final slim design, the one that came out in 2012, it lasted for 8 full years without a major redesign. That's just a testament to how forward-thinking and, well, timeless the design really was.
But all good things must come to an end. The run finally stopped in 2021. The introduction of the super colorful, impossibly thin M1 iMac was a complete design reset. It was time to say goodbye to the silver slab that had defined the iMac for so long.
I mean, think about it. A single core design idea that evolved through 3 major versions, lasted for over 13 years. It survived huge shifts in technology from Core 2 Duo processors all the way to stunning 5K Retina displays. So it really leaves us with one big question. What was it about that simple mix of aluminum and glass that made it so incredibly timeless?